Still one of the greatest Botches of all time.
Poor Titus O'Neil. I mean, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. I mean,
that was almost as good as Vince busting both of his quads.
I don't think anything will beat Vince breaking his quads, just like sliding in the ring.
Because then he's just sitting on the ground,
just barking orders, just that pompadour just going back and forth. But
jackhammer, grapefruit.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 5-Star Jobbers Podcast. I'm Cody.
And I was born to be a member of the Judgment Day.
I think now they're taking all applications, because if R-Truth can be in it, anybody can be in it at this point.
I mean, I've always said live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love, Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching, all of those that have been watching on YouTube. If you haven't gone and subscribed to us or haven't listened to any of our content, I mean, at this point, we don't know what to do.
What are you using the internet for?
We have a lot of questions for you, but you don't have to answer them. Don't answer them. We just have questions. We'll leave it at that.
Would you be doing it if Jesus was here?
Exactly. But anyway, thank you guys for subscribing and listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, go to our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube, where you can see all of our commentary from previous events that we went to. We've also got some more events that we're going to be going to in the future. February 10th, we'll be at DCCW in McClenny, Florida. Getting ready to do some live commentary for them as well. And then we've got March 2nd, where we'll be going to NWA's Hard Times in Dothan.
Hard Times.
It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. If you want more information on it, message us or message our friend Justin Overstreet for tickets. But talking about events, I just went to one this past weekend that I made mention of in the last episode, where I went to Southern Wrestling Tradition, sporting the 5-Star Jobber shirt, as always.
Yeah, I got my own, if you don't notice here. Now, yours is bigger than mine.
Well, I mean, we all knew that, John.
I didn't know that.
But if you didn't, now you know. But anyway, so I got to take in this incredible event, and I want to say a big thank you to everybody at Southern Wrestling Tradition for allowing me to be there. Thank you to all the talent that was there, allowing us to be able to come backstage and interview some of these guys. But, you know...
And to the people of Pavo, let me come back. I didn't know it was like a sacred horse, okay? I mean, who has a town horse?
I don't even know if they're going to let you back after this now, but anyway.
I think it's profiling, like... Just anybody in that particular relationship. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm about to say, let's not get into the details of that. But anyway, so I was able to get some highlights for you guys, and I think we should show them just a little bit of what this event was like for them.
Let's do it.
So here's what we got for you guys.
What's up, guys? So I'm here right now on behalf of 5-Star Jobbers, and I'm here outside the Pavo Peacock Center getting ready to take in Southern Wrestling Tradition's first ever live event. Let's go take a look at what they got. Hey guys, so I'm backstage right now here at Southern Wrestling Tradition with Preston Beston. He's the owner and promoter here, and this is the very first event of Southern Wrestling Tradition. So I got to ask you, what can the fans expect from this being the first event tonight?
They can expect a lot. We're going to have tradition. See, there's been wrestling here for a long time, but it hasn't been traditional. It hasn't been done the right way. Sure, you're going to see familiar talent, but you're also going to see new talent, and we're going to show that the South still does have tradition in the state of Georgia.
That's incredible. So let's go to the ring and see what they got in store for us. Hey guys, so that's going to do it for our time here at Southern Wrestling Tradition's first ever event. Let's take it back to the studio.
Man, I wish you could have been there, John. It was so much fun. Once again, thank you to everybody there. I got to talk to Exodus, as you saw. I got to see some other faces as well. Just a huge thank you to Preston Veston and everybody that was there that welcomed us with open arms. And we look forward to coming to future events as well. More will be on that in future. And if you want to go to their social media and check out future events, go to their social media. Like I said, Southern Wrestling Tradition. Go check it out because there will be more events to come.
SRT Wrestling. Do it.
SWT.
Southern Wrestling Tradition. I'm special.
It's okay. Hey, that's the Southern version. It's not
listen,
wrestling.
I spell my wrestling with an R.
Yeah. The diehards spell it with an R. But guys, there's so much that has been going on in the world of wrestling, and like we've said before, the Royal Rumble is vastly approaching. So,
I can't wait. What do we got? It's less than a week away at this point.
Exactly.
I mean, it's next Sunday.
Yep.
But it's already Sunday. So I wake. It's like how you think about Christmas, like you minus a day.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I think of the Royal Rumble because the Royal Rumble to me it's like Christmas.
Yeah.
You get to spend it with the ones you love.
And so with the Royal Rumble approaching, I think it's time we do another Putting Up Predictions, John.
I think it's time that we put up some predictions.
So the thing about this, though, is that they haven't really announced very many matches other than the 2 Royal Rumble matches and 2 title matches.
Well, the 2 Royal Rumble matches alone, are at least an hour.
Right.
So, if depending on how that goes, they can. I can't remember what the longest Rumble, as far as like run time has been, but I want to say it's somewhere around an hour and 20, about an hour and 20, 25 minutes.
Oh, I think it's longer than that because you remember the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
Well, I don't count that one because that one. What is that one? Was that with 50 entrants?
Yes,
and that was essentially the pay-per-view in itself. Still one of the greatest botches of all time.
Poor Titus O'Neil. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it.
That was almost as good as Vince busting both of his quads.
I don't think anything will beat Vince breaking his quads, just sliding in the ring.
Because then he's just sitting on the ground.
Just barking orders, just that pompadour just going back and forth, but
jackhammer, grapefruit.
Oh gosh! But
did you say garsh?
I said gosh.
Hey, Goofy, how's Max doing?
Shut up. But with the 2 Royal Rumble matches and then the 2 title matches, I'm sure that there's going to be more and I think the dirt sheets or some of the
we'll go over some of that. We'll pull that up. But as far as we know, today, there are only 4 set in stone matches. Now, of course, we're recording this on a Sunday, so on Monday we've got Raw, and
then there'll be SmackDown.
It's very possible that 1 or 2 matches could be added on Raw, and then of course maybe 1 or even 2 matches added on SmackDown.
Exactly.
As as an add-on. The pay-per-view,
the pre-show,
the buy-in.
Yeah.
So, but we will
totally
be
different product.
We will be watching the Royal Rumble. We will be doing. We're going to try to put together an episode with up to date reactions as we're watching. So
it's in the works.
It's in the works. Yeah, bear with us.
There's a lot of things behind the scenes that we got to work out to where it's not going to be an issue.
Copyrights are expensive, guys.
Yes. So if you want to donate to the cause, we've got social media if you want to just generously donate to the cause to where we can do these kind of things because people have asked us for reaction videos.
Oh, I get them weekly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's in the works. Don't worry, but there's a lot of things that go into that behind the scenes that we got to work out. But don't worry, it's going to come up. But so we want to do Putting Up Predictions for this, and so we're already scheduled to do punishments for the last ones. And so
that's also coming up this week. I'm not looking so forward to that.
Yeah.
Sunday is Royal Rumble, and I'm very excited, but Saturday is a different kind of day.
Exactly. That's where we're both getting punished because if you remember from season 1 where we did Putting Up Predictions, I think one was for All In London, and the other one was for which one was it? Was it Money in the Bank or was it a different one, I think?
I want to say, whatever was before. It wasn't Survivor Series.
No.
It had to have been, I think, either
maybe SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think it was SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. So John lost the one for SummerSlam, and I lost the one for All In. So we both ended up getting punished. So John is having his armpits waxed, and I'm getting chopped in the chest 3 times. I don't know who it's going to be by, but whenever we go to Sweat Academy, Yeah, somebody is going to be chopping the crap out of my chest.
He's going to make some purple chesticles.
Oh, gosh, it's going to suck so bad. But, so that'll be this weekend as well. So don't worry, there will be videos, because I've already had people asking me, is there going to be a video of it? Trust me, there will be a video. You'll all get to see us in pain. And that's what we do. Our pain is your pleasure, I guess.
I'm going to prepare my best PG response to having the hair and skin ripped from my body.
I'm going to try my best as well, but I don't think it's going to go over well for me, because I think I'm going to hardcore this week look at how I can put censorship on these videos, because there's going to be some words said that are not very PG-like.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but...
Well, I heard an important thing for you to do before getting chopped is to lube up.
I'll have to look into that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, anything at this point helps.
He's telling me he has to look into lubing up.
Anyway, so we're going to do our Puttin Up Predictions. So we've got 4 main ones that we're going to do, and we'll get into the first one here, but... throughout the episode, we'll be thinking of a punishment that we could possibly do, or we might announce it later. But just stay tuned for the rest of the episode. We might come up with something here in just a little bit.
I think what we should do is we'll put up predictions, and then we will figure out the punishment.
Okay, yeah. Or
release
or
it. We'll probably release it later in the week as a YouTube short.
Yeah.
To let y'all know on YouTube and TikTok.
Exactly.
And then... by the end of next week, when we post the Royal Rumble, match and everything like that, we'll know who's gonna get it.
Exactly. Which, I mean, if you guys have any ideas, and I might shoot myself in the foot for saying this, but if you guys have any ideas for punishments, send it our way. No matter what it is.
Nothing involving the cornhole.
Exactly. Nothing involving the cornhole and nothing involving the giblets. None of that. We're not ready for that at this point.
My giblets are special.
But anyway, let's get into the first match here. So, the first one that I've got listed on here, and we're not going in any specific order. This is not the set match card. This is what we have listed here. So, for the first one, we have the United States Championship match with Logan Paul facing Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. So, I kind of at first thought that Kevin Owens would be the one to take the title off of Logan Paul, just because I'm ready to see Logan Paul not in WWE anymore, personally.
You don't like Logan Paul in WWE?
I can't stand it. As an athlete, fantastic.
Well, that's the thing is, he's a great heel.
Yeah, he is. But personality-wise, I can't stand the guy.
Well, that's the point.
Well, I mean, even outside of WWE.
But that's the point.
But still, can't stand the guy. But anyway, my prediction for this, Logan Paul retains the title. I don't think that they're going to take the title off him at Royal Rumble. I think they're going to reserve that for WrestleMania.
I fully agree. It's been in the dirt sheets for a while, and if you haven't seen him, Sportskeeda and many other decent online internet wrestling sites have reported that one of the predicted WrestleMania matches is LA Knight versus Logan Paul. And I would assume that would be for the United States title.
Right.
That would be LA Knight's first title. Obviously, he's had a world title match.
Yeah.
But if he wins that at WrestleMania, which I would predict that he would if that's the match, that'll be LA Knight's first singles title and would go into the to the run that he's having and the push that he's being given currently. So, I expect Logan Paul will, through some cheat, brass knuckles, interference from his brother or somebody.
Somebody or something is going to cause interference.
Will prevail and win the match. And he'll retain, and like I said, he'll make it to WrestleMania. I think he'll drop the title at WrestleMania and most likely to LA Knight. So, it's unfortunate because I'd love to see Kevin win the title and have the United States title. He's always been a good U.S. champion. So that stinks. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I think Kevin's going to work to get Paul even more over, or as far as, the heat, get more heat on him.
Exactly.
So that, when LA Knight wins at WrestleMania, it'll be a real crowd pleaser.
Right. So that's the one where we agree on probably the most. That's a no-brainer. The next one, though, we've kind of gone back and forth a little bit with this one, but this is the Fatal 4-Way match for the Universal Championship where Roman Reigns will defend it against Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight.
Well, and I think that we probably would have similar picks up until this week.
Right. Because,
with Seth Rollins' injury.
With Seth Rollins' injury, that throws a monkey wrench into the whole system, because we've already talked about it here where, the whole idea was it was going to be Punk versus Rollins for the world title. You had the opportunity to have Roman versus The Rock. And, the idea, when we discussed this on the previous episode, was that it makes a lot of sense. Roman doesn't need the title. The head of the table between Roman and The Rock is big enough on its own. It doesn't need the title.
Right.
Roman could have lost the title in a four-way match without being pinned ever, and Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes could then wrestle for the WWE title and allow Cody Rhodes to finish the story against an opponent that has a lot more history with Cody and makes more sense, honestly, in the long run.
Right.
However, with an injury to Seth Rollins and a torn meniscus, an MCL tear, some reports are saying that that Rollins could potentially wrestle with this, like if he rested, and I guess whether he had any kind of a surgery or it's treated medically in some way, that he could possibly wrestle at WrestleMania. I mean, if anybody could do it, Seth Rollins absolutely could do it. I just don't know that a torn, especially at 36, 37, a torn meniscus, torn MCL is going to be something that you're going to be able to rehab super quick. And I don't know. I mean, I guess time's going to tell on this one.
Right.
And this is like, if anybody, as everybody's listening to this, if you want to put on your Triple H hat or your Booker hat, and you got to think to yourself, okay, am I going to bank a WrestleMania main event on a potential return from a meniscal and MCL tear?
See, and I don't think you should.
I don't think you should either.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Triple H, if I'm sitting there and this is my first WrestleMania sans Vince.
Yeah.
I want it to go off without a hitch.
Exactly.
I don't know
the story up.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna hold off on a potential Seth Rollins return in 2 months from a tear. So my thought here, and this is, like I said, this is where I'm coming from, and like I said, I've gone back and forth on this a lot, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is where I land. I think at this point now, there's got to be some kind, like Rollins has got to drop the title.
Yeah, he will.
I think on Monday night, he's going to come in, he's going to talk about it. I think there's going to end up being a tournament that leads up to WrestleMania for the world title.
You think it'll go all the way through Elimination Chamber?
Granted, it could be a tournament or it could be Elimination Chamber straight.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he drops the title now, and they have the title defended in the Elimination Chamber to crown a new champion.
And so I've thought about this on multiple things. So I guess I just have to kind of come out of the box with all these things.
Right.
If they don't do a tournament and they say that Elimination Chamber is gonna, well, see, the thing, if they wrestle for the title at Elimination Chamber, then you have a champion in Elimination Chamber, and then who challenges that champion? But here's the other thing that happens too. So my original thoughts were that CM Punk would win the Royal Rumble this year,
right?
And then Cody would go on to Elimination Chamber, win Elimination Chamber, challenge Roman for the title, or challenge Randy for the title. But now, if CM Punk really doesn't make any sense for CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble at this point,
right? Because
if CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble at this juncture, unless they make the Royal Rumble for the world title,
which honestly, that would definitely change up everything. But again, we're recording this on Sunday,
this a day late,
so we don't know what's going to happen.
We don't really have all the information I'd like to have to make a really accurate prediction.
But that's the good thing about it. It's like, because our predictions may be completely off right now. So we're going off of a week of not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, and so on Friday Night SmackDown.
But yeah, so based on today and the information that we have today, to me it makes sense for Cody to win the Royal Rumble.
See, that's what I've got too for the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got off track from the Fatal 4-Way match.
But I'm saying, so at this point, what I think is going to happen is I think that Roman is going to win the Fatal 4-Way.
See, and I'm still of the mindset I think Randy's going to win it.
See, I think had Seth not gotten hurt, that totally makes sense, because that way you have Rock and Roman, Cody and Randy, Seth and CM Punk.
Well, see, and I think that's still going to happen at some point, but I think for the Fatal 4-Way match for this, I think Randy wins the title via Rock making some kind of appearance and causing a distraction for Roman, and then Orton comes out of nowhere with the RKO and picks up the victory, and you have a new Universal Champion.
Yeah. What if The Rock was in the Royal Rumble and won the Royal Rumble?
See, and I thought that too, but I just don't know if that's going to be a good idea. Just simply based on, like, Cody needs to win the Royal Rumble. I think Cody needs to win this more than CM Punk does.
Cody already won it, though. Cody won it last year.
So, but I think he needs to win it again this year.
You think that Cody wins it again this year?
I think Cody wins it again this year. Just because, in light of recent things that have happened with Seth Rollins, it would make more sense that CM Punk would win if Rollins was not injured.
Yeah.
But now that Rollins is injured and possibly out however many months, I think it makes more sense for Cody to win it, so that way he can finish the story out at WrestleMania against Randy Orton or whoever walks out Universal Champion.
Yeah, at the end of the day right now, like my biggest thought is that whether the Royal Rumble is for the World Championship or if the Elimination Chamber determines the champion, I really feel like CM Punk is going to end up being the champion.
Oh, yeah, he will at some point.
But the question is he the champion going into WrestleMania, or is he the challenger going into WrestleMania?
I'm going to go with he's going to be the challenger at WrestleMania.
So who would be the champion going into WrestleMania? You're making chicken salad out of chicken excrement. Obviously we wanted to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Who do you think we can sink our teeth into?
You know what I think, and this just came to my mind, because you know that tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw it's Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
What if they threw us a curveball last minute and changed the booking to where it's McIntyre and Priest having the Money in the Bank contract on the line? Because, I mean, with this new injury that Seth Rollins has, it would make sense to kind of have this be like, oh, well, now you got Damian and Drew going at it for the Money in the Bank contract, and then having Drew at that point take the contract from Damian. And
then a lot of, once again, if we're talking about that and referring back to some of the dirt sheets, it's been long predicted in the dirt sheets that one of the WrestleMania matches is going to be Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a ladder match for the briefcase. So it'll be a one-on-one Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania between Drew and Damian. Now, if Drew and Damian are fighting at Raw tomorrow, you're saying that
right.
And if Seth drops the title, you could very well say that match is going to be for the world title.
True.
And then if you have Drew McIntyre win the title and you have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, I mean, that's not CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, but
it's still a good match for WrestleMania.
We've also seen the promo between Drew and Punk.
And those guys can make that story work well.
Well, they've already had a great promo session together where, Drew basically said, I'm not Seth, and we have our own problems, but we both agree that we don't like you for the same reasons.
Right.
So, I don't know. There's so many things that could happen. I mean, this is why I love professional wrestling. I love the road to WrestleMania. I hate the fact that Seth Rollins is injured, and to think about having this upcoming WrestleMania not have Seth Rollins with the role that he's been on and how well he's been doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it tears my heart out. It stinks for him, for us, for everyone. The work that him and CM Punk were really doing, and the reality of the stories that they were telling.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I was happier than a fat kid at a bakery, at a Dutch bakery, just like Augustus Gloop at Willy Wonka's factory, just diving into the chocolate sea, man.
The chocolate what?
The river. Sea.
You said it, not me.
It was a body of water, chocolate water. Listen,
it's not very awesome that I get him on some of those.
I'm getting old. My brain is decaying. I think it's the old timers disease that they call it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we said. There's so much unpredictability about this week, and so it's hard for us to know for certain just because of what happened with Seth Rollins, and so we're going into this completely blind, essentially.
Yeah, it's really
not completely, but to a degree.
I don't want to put any more human pain on a prediction based on such little information. But I mean, if I had gun to my head at the moment, I'd have to say, yeah, I think at this point, with the way things are going, and this is a bold statement, I think it would make, to me, as far as a WrestleMania, making the WrestleMania card as strong as possible, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the world title is big.
Right.
And then The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the WWE title is big.
Yes.
CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, that's the ultimate FU.
Oh yeah.
To AEW.
Yes.
I mean, like
big time.
Like couldn't come up with a better screw you.
No.
Unless we hear MJF's music at the Royal Rumble.
If we hear MJF's music at the Royal Rumble, I will mark out big time. I'm not kidding.
Would you scissor?
I'm not going to go that far, but I will definitely be excited. Don't give me that look.
I'll take advantage of him in the time.
No, not going to happen.
This is my bold prediction, right. Is that I think, honestly, if I'm booking this, and obviously I'm not, but if I'm Triple H and I'm trying to make the best, biggest marquee matches, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the world title, Roman Reigns versus The Rock for the WWE title and the tribal, in tribal combat.
Right.
CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, I don't know who's winning that. I mean, I would say let Cody Rhodes win that. He wins the world title. Punk doesn't need it. Punk's got plenty of punkness to do whatever he needs to do to be over in any situation.
Right.
Roman would go over The Rock, and then you'd have, at that point, Roman can supersede. I mean, this is what, Sam, gosh, what's his name?
Muchnick?
No, not Sam Muchnick, the NWA president. No, Sam Roberts. Sam Roberts and the I'm blanking on the guy, the bald guy who does a lot of he does a lot of the pre-commentary. A lot of the analysts, the podcasters who do this. I honestly, that we don't sit there and listen to every podcast,
right?
But
we try to. But
there's a lot of people that think that Roman, no matter what, regardless of anything, is on the track. Like they want him to beat Hulk Hogan's record.
Right.
And honestly, I think that under Vince, that was probably the idea.
Yeah.
I think Vince wanted to erase Hulk Hogan's history with somebody he chose. I don't think Paul Levesque, Triple H, I don't think he cares about some of the vendettas that Vince McMahon has as much as so. But I think that there is the opportunity to be able to have a champion in the modern era that is a true record-breaking champion. That's good for business. So in this situation, if you could have Roman continue to be the champion and break Hulk Hogan's record, and then next WrestleMania you have Cody as a champion, Roman as a champion, and then you have a champion versus champion WrestleMania where Cody truly finishes the story and becomes the undisputed world heavyweight champion. I mean, is there any more perfect ending to that story?
I don't think so, but I mean, to have it go on for another year where Cody keeps having to try and finish the story at every
but as the
WrestleMania.
champion, it's not exactly like he's not making forward progress. If he wins a world heavyweight title at WrestleMania against CM Punk, no, he's not finishing the story. But imagine if imagine what, like, if you talk, if you listen to the Sam Roberts podcast and some of these other podcasts where they legitimately still think Cody's not winning at this WrestleMania. There are so many people who are still saying that Roman is winning at WrestleMania, that Cody is still not going to finish the story at this WrestleMania. And truth be told, Cody might not finish the story at WrestleMania. I would so much rather put a title on him and have him at least a champion instead of a chump.
Right.
Because of this, at the end of this, like...
See, and I'm probably in the minority of those that think that Cody is going to win the title, no matter which one that he faces for.
Yeah, well, and my thing is, if he wins the title, he can win the title at WrestleMania, the world title against CM Punk, and he's not finishing the story, but at least that's another step forward, and he's not in the same spot that... See, right now, Cody Rhodes is no more finishing the story than he was when he came back at WrestleMania 2 years ago.
Right.
2 years ago, he came back at WrestleMania. He faced Seth Rollins. He came back the next night, and he set up the story.
Yeah.
He set up the story that he aimed to finish. And then we had the pectoral issue, and then he returns at Royal Rumble. He wins the Rumble, and it's the story continues of, I'm going to finish the story. And he doesn't. And most people are really frustrated, but in a adult world, we can all go, well, yeah, that would probably be a little bit quick.
Yeah.
1 year turnaround, finish the story. Where do you go after that?
Right.
So, it's easy to sell. It's easy to swallow that pill of, okay, there's still more for him to do.
Yeah.
There's still more demons for him to slay before he gets to the final boss.
Yeah, I don't know. I just still feel like this WrestleMania will be the one where he finally wins a title. I don't know,
I'd love for that to be the thing, but with what's going on with Seth, is that really the right move, or do you take the silver lining in the cloud of a Seth Rollins injury and figure out a way to put the title on somebody who is on Raw, put the title on someone who is going to carry the title very well? Cody Rhodes as a champion is good for business. I don't care what anybody says. Cody Rhodes that would be his first WWE World Championship. Now, it's not the WWE Championship,
but it's a World Championship.
that was like, we've talked about this on the show before too. That title, I do not define that title as finishing the story, because that title, the world title, the look of it, the history of it, where it comes from, it is that title comes from the NWA. Dusty Rhodes has already won the NWA title.
Right.
The title that eluded Dusty Rhodes, the title that Cody Rhodes wants, is the WWE title. And the WWE title now is the WWE Universal title that Roman Reigns carries on his strap. And Cody does not finish the story until he holds that title. But right now, between everything that's going on, it doesn't seem like it. You got Seth Rollins out. You're really gonna put the title on Cody and send him over to SmackDown?
No. I think that's where he throws the curveballs. That he wins the Royal Rumble, but he challenges Orton at WrestleMania for the WWE title.
So yeah, that would still hinder on the idea that so you're still saying so at this point, let's solidify it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and solidify it.
At the Fatal 4-Way, you're predicting that Randy Orton wins the Fatal 4-Way and becomes the WWE champion at Royal Rumble.
100%.
Okay, I'm predicting that Roman Reigns wins.
All right. And then, so we've already done the United States Championship match. Logan Paul for both of us. I say Randy Orton for the Fatal 4-Way. You say Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. Royal Rumble, do we both agree on Cody Rhodes, or do we have a different opinion on that? Because I'm saying Cody Rhodes wins the whole thing.
I think Cody Rhodes does win the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't know how Punk I think Punk goes in as the challenger, and maybe Cody is the title holder and he retains.
Right. Or it could be somebody completely different.
Oh, it could be somebody completely different. But at this point right now, if I had to pick anybody to win the Royal Rumble, I think Punk was the original choice. But now with Rollins out, that doesn't make any sense to have him win it just for nothing,
right.
unless they come out tomorrow and say it's for the title.
Right.
If it's for the title, then I want to have a parlay here.
Okay.
If tomorrow it is announced that it is for the title, that the Royal Rumble winner will be the world champion, CM Punk wins.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, CM Punk will win that. If it's for the title, then CM Punk will win it.
Yes.
But if it's not, it's Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
And then lastly, we have the women's Royal Rumble match. So there's a bunch of different ways that I thought that this could go, but ultimately, I'm maybe in the minority whenever I make this prediction. But I'm going to say that Shayna Baszler wins this one.
I would love Shayna Baszler to win this one.
Because just the rivalry that her and Rhea Ripley had, and we've talked about this before.
I've talked about this before. Why? I mean, I get where they're going now. They've made it very clear it's going to be Rhea versus Becky, or that's what they're trying to build. And that's, at the end of the day, she doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble for them to have that match.
Yeah, they could have that at Elimination Chamber.
Because Rhea already said, I want to face you at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I'm not
I'm just not 100% sold.
I'm going to pick Becky.
Okay.
Because that's the story that they're trying to tell, and that's the match that they're trying to put together.
Gotcha.
I'm going to say that the man takes the Royal Rumble. I would love Shayna Baszler. I mean, truthfully, I think Shayna Baszler versus Rhea Ripley is probably a better match.
Oh, 100%.
But as far as, once again, it's about the marquee.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch is is a more marketable challenger to Rhea Ripley. I think Becky's going to be the one who raises the title successfully at the end of the day at WrestleMania.
Yeah, 100%. If she's in the title picture, yeah, she'll win the title.
So at the end of the day, I love that pick, and there's a part of me that wants to say that Shayna would win, and that it would that she gets to come in and say, screw you, Becky, you don't get to do this. I'm better than you, and I'm the most dominant female in combat sports.
Right.
But I retired. I want her to stand in the middle of a ring, and I want her to say, I retired the baddest woman on the planet. I retired Ronda Rousey. Okay, I retired the first woman to ever win a women's UFC championship and a WWE women's championship, and I retired her.
Yeah.
When do I get to have that promo? When does that win against that level of a call her a superstar or just call her Ronda freaking Rousey? When does that mean something?
It should mean something. I mean, that's what they need to do, and have Shayna Baszler win the Royal Rumble going into WrestleMania. Build upon that, and just have her say, if I can retire the baddest woman on the planet, imagine what I can do to Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what you say. That's how you sell tickets, right?
Exactly.
There.
That's your marquee match right there for the women's title.
Like I said, unfortunately, that's what I want to see. Like you and me, I'm with it. But I think Becky wins the match. I think it's Becky versus Rhea, and that it'll be a huge seller.
Right.
It's a marquee match. I mean, and we, to my knowledge, have we ever seen Becky versus Rhea?
I don't think we have. If we have, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. We may have at some point. I can't remember.
It may have been a one-off at some point, when Rhea was new to the main roster, where she wasn't necessarily getting the big push, and maybe Becky beat her.
Right.
But as far as her and her current, how she's been since joining the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
The Rhea character that she created over in NXT UK, brought over to NXT, and was pretty much unstoppable until they brought her over to the main roster and made her a little bit less. But they've corrected the ship on that. And they've given her.
They've righted the wrong.
They've righted the wrong on that, and I mean she is very clearly the most dominant female wrestler in the entire industry at this point.
But also, there's someone that we're forgetting, which I didn't put them in there just because I'm not really sure how they would factor her in. But Jade Cargill, she will be in the Royal Rumble.
I think Jade's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I think she's going to show really well in the Royal Rumble. I don't think that she had. See, here's the thing. This is once again.
I think with that, she won't win the Royal Rumble.
She won't win the Royal Rumble because she's not a big enough. She's not a big enough name in the overall sports entertainment professional wrestling industry. Like AEW made her look like $1 million. That was one
I would
character.
Disagree. I think because of that, she's become a big name, and now that she made the jump to WWE, now people are starting to really take notice of her, and they're wondering when she's going to make her in-ring debut, when she's going to make her first appearance in the ring. But at the same time, I think that they could probably make a marquee match for her and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. But then again, I just don't see her winning the Royal Rumble. She'll make an appearance, but she won't win the whole thing.
Yeah, she doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to. Let's see. EO is the champion of SmackDown. I think that Jade is pretty much set to be a SmackDown rostered character.
Right.
So, I don't see Jade Cargill versus Io Sky being the championship match at WrestleMania.
No, that's going to be Bayley.
Yep, yeah, 100%. I think that's Bayley versus Io. So, honestly, she could arrive, have a really good showing in the Royal Rumble, and then maybe challenge somebody. The women, other than the women's title, the women's division does not have another singles title,
right,
to fight for. Like when Jade was in AEW, I'll say one thing AEW does right. They don't implement it right, but it's set up correctly. Is that they have a non-heavyweight championship title, singles title. So there's at least something for the women to fight over if they're not in the championship run.
Right.
WWE doesn't have that other than the tag team title, so there's really not a marquee major match for someone like Bianca, for someone like Jade Cargill, for some of the other big names,
right?
That would really make sense, like at WrestleMania, if they're not in the women's title and they're not in a tag team title match. So I don't know if we see. I hope to see Jade Cargill in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, she'll be on there.
I think she will be. She's not winning it. She's going to have a good showing, but we may not even see her a whole lot between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I think we'll see a lot more Jade Cargill post WrestleMania.
Really?
What would you if you bring Jade Cargill out right now, and you're going to have her in the Royal Rumble, and she's not winning the Royal Rumble, what would you put Jade Cargill in, like a program-wise, to have her in a WrestleMania match that she can win and mean something versus putting her in just some random women's match where she's just an accessory and it doesn't mean anything?
Well, see, that's why I think you have her and Bianca Belair. You have two powerhouses in the women's division that could do a great job together.
So what are they fighting for?
Honestly, just fighting for dominance and maybe fighting for a chance to compete for the women's title on SmackDown.
So what do you think? Maybe Bianca, maybe Jade comes into the Royal Rumble. Maybe Bianca pulls an early number,
right,
and is workhorsing.
And then Jay dumps her over later.
I like that. I'll take that idea.
Yeah.
And Bianca is definitely somebody that I would choose to be. If you know the business and you know the sport, the Royal Rumble, you have your Broadway performers, and you have those Broadway performers are the ones who are going to be wrestling for close to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's been a Broadway performer. Gunther was a Broadway performer last year in the match. Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Mysterio. Rhea Ripley was a Broadway performer in the Royal Rumble that she won last year. Who else was a Broadway? Bianca was at one point was in the match for, I want to say, 40 plus minutes.
Right.
I don't know if it was last Royal Rumble or the Royal Rumble before that, but she's been a Broadway competitor. She very well could be a Broadway competitor in this year's Royal Rumble. And for Jade to come in and dominate and throw her out, that could start a marquee match for WrestleMania. Yeah, I like that. I'll take that.
So far on our predictions, we agree on the United States Championship match with Logan Paul winning over Kevin Owens. You've got Roman Reigns winning the Fatal 4-Way.
Yep.
I've got Randy Orton winning the Fatal 4-Way. Women's Royal Rumble match, I say Shayna Baszler. You say Becky Lynch.
I say Becky Lynch.
Men's Royal Rumble match, we both say Cody Rhodes.
Yep. If it's not for the world title.
Right. If it is for the world title,
it's CM Punk.
Both of us say CM Punk.
Yep.
So those are our predictions. We'll find out who got most correct by our reviews next week, and we'll have a punishment picked out this week at some point. We'll put a short out on YouTube, like we said, or we'll put a TikTok out announcing it or something to that extent. But those are our predictions. If you want to let us know what your predictions are, or let us know what your thoughts are on the matches coming up at the Royal Rumble, let us know on our social media. We'll be happy to hear from you guys on that. You ready for reserve reviews, John?
I am ready.
I was about to say, last episode you said you weren't ready, so I was hoping that you're in tune for this one.
One day I hope that you'll be like a Michael Buffer or like Triple H, and you'll look at me and say, "Are you ready for some predictions?"
It's like I always say, there's a first time for everything.
It'll be a little less special now because I had to tell you.
Whatever. But
Don't you hate it when your wives do that, gentlemen?
I'm not going to say anything because I don't know if my wife watches this or not, but I'm going to hope that she does in support of me because she loves me. But I'm going to hope that she doesn't see this, so I'm going to not comment on it.
That's a smart move, man.
See? Happy wife, happy life.
I choose violence.
Yeah, I know you do. But let's get into some predictions. So, high spots, what you got for your high spot?
Oh, so there were a lot of really good things going on. I mean, my favorite high spot, and this is just the stupidest thing in the world. My favorite high spot was at the early part of Raw this week when the Judgment Day is coming out and the Judgment Day hologram is shining. And
I know what you're about to say.
R-Truth has been superimposed into the Judgment. Like, you've got like these guys wearing cloaks and stuff, and then there's the R-Truth with the Live, Laugh, Love sign in the back. Everything that they're doing with this is just, it's killing me. And then the fact that he's sitting there selling these shirts, and he's in the middle of the match, he's giving money to Finn Balor, and Finn's taking the time to stick the money in his pocket.
And then JD, because they're like, "Where's my cut?"
Where's my cut?
You're not in Judgment Day.
You're not in Judgment Day.
Yeah, I mean, everything they're doing with R-Truth and the Judgment Day is absolutely hilarious.
But then
I love every bit of it.
But like, as far as the wrestling goes, my high spot for this week goes to AEW, the match between Hook and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my high spots on here. One of my high spots was the DIY tag team match that we saw on Raw. Absolutely amazing match. I love DIY.
That you can tell Hunter's back in the seat of booking for DIY. For some reason, you could tell Vince hated DIY because he buried Johnny, he buried Tommaso, and while he still had any kind of influence whatsoever, and they were trying to get DIY together, DIY has not been a serious tag team whatsoever. Now that Triple H has full, control of the reins, DIY is back to being a entertaining but to be taken seriously tag team, and I am hoping that we will have DIY either taking the titles from the Judgment Day or a DIY versus Imperium match, maybe at WrestleMania for the World Tag Team titles.
That would be fantastic. But yeah, the tag team match with DIY, and also the fact that the Bruiserweight is back on SmackDown.
No more Butch.
No more Butch. It is Pete Dunne, the way that it should have been when he made the jump over to the main roster. But again, Vince putting his hand on booking and changing everybody's names.
Yeah.
We go from Walter to Gunther. We go from Pete Dunne to Butch. It was just a huge mess. But now we finally have the Bruiserweight on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I am super excited. I don't know if you saw this, but I think someone shared it on social media where it's not going to happen, but they put an Elimination Chamber marquee up where they had Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Ilya Dragunov, and I think Ridge Holland was the sixth one on there. Could you imagine an Elimination Chamber with all six of these European-style athletes?
I mean, that match would have more swollen titties than you will after this week at the Sweat Factory.
Exactly. That would be an incredible match to watch.
Oh, my gosh. That would be a fantastic match to watch. And no, I'm just so happy to not have to call Pete Dunne Butch anymore.
Thank God. Now we can finally call him the Bruiserweight.
No, I'm not a fan of Butch.
No, I was not a fan of Butch whenever they announced that, and I'm still not a fan of Gunther. But
I'm not a fan of Gunther either, but at this point, I don't know. I feel like he's gotten over enough in the WWE world that there's no reason to change it.
Right. It just sucks because we all love Walter, but like I said, it's working for him now, so I guess we can just make do with what we have.
Yeah, but at the same time too, like Gunther, Walter,
Tomato.
It really, it's much ado about nothing. But there's a huge difference between Pete Dunne and Butch.
Yeah, major difference.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, that's some of my high spots
I
this
like
week.
my Pete Dunne's Pete Dunne, and I like my women, not Butch.
Anyway, moving on to botches for the week. I only had one botch, in my opinion. It was the women's tag team match on Raw.
The rematch?
Yeah, with Chelsea Green, Piper Niven.
It wasn't great, but what was botch about it?
There was just nothing to it. It was just very bland.
No, they're just really checking the box, like, solidifying them as champions so that they win. I mean, I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it a botch, but yeah, I mean, it was the women's tag team division is
stale.
Well, I mean,
not necessarily stale, but kind of lackluster.
Well, they don't really have solidified teams. Like, Casey and Caden are the only team that are like a long-term standing team, like where the girls, like where you believe that they're friends and that they hang out outside of the ring.
See, whereas really, there's only 3 tag teams that I would say in the women's division that are like even considered to be legitimate tag teams. You got Casey and Caden, of course, the tag team champions. And you got Isla Dawn and Alba Fire.
Well,
the Unholy Union.
Alba and Isla, they're the only other one that to me is.
Well, and I'll also say the Kabuki Warriors. Because, I mean, at some point, they're going to be the tag team champions.
But they're not wrestling as a tag team at the moment.
Not at the moment, but they will.
I mean, if they and please can we not call them the Kabuki Warriors? It's like the most underlyingly stupidly racist.
Yeah,
like
that's just the first thing that came to mind. I know it's not what they're supposed to be.
That was a Vince McMahon, like, I just call them the Kabuki Warriors. It'll be hilarious. Ha ha ha. And they can eat rice on the way down to the ring. Like, I got him.
Yeah, with that one.
But like,
excuse me.
That tag team was a huge tag team in Japan.
Yeah,
and it has the potential to be a huge tag team here in the United States. And then they're not going to be called the Kabuki Warriors. That's for dang sure. But no, I would love to see that tag team actually tag team. Like right now, they're still part of they're overall encompassed by the Damage Control umbrella.
Right,
but.
And they may still carry that out whenever they drop Bailey and Dakota Kai.
But yeah, one thing they really have, like, I don't know. I just really haven't seen a whole lot of this. I mean, obviously, Bailey and Sasha at one point were the tag team, and they were a good tag team with good synergy. Rhea and Liv. Yeah. They were a good tag team.
You mean, Rhea and Liv or Liv and Raquel?
Rhea and Liv.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, Liv and Raquel were a tag team too, but honestly, I think Rhea and Liv make way more sense. Their characters are so much more evenly aligned. They're slightly alternative. They've got a little edge to them.
Yeah.
And for a fact that they hang out, like, with social media and stuff, and you can't ignore that in today's world.
No.
They actually hang out and are friends. Now, Rhea and Raquel are actually really close, good friends as well. In real life, but their characters are so far apart right now, you really could not bring them together. It'd be nice if you could, because that would be one heck of a tag team. But at the end of the day, like when Liv makes her return, I would love, and she's actually, Rhea's talked about this. Somebody asked, they go, if you could add a member to Judgment Day, who would you add? And she said Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than for Liv Morgan to return and be a member of Judgment Day. I think that'd be awesome. But at the same time, I think Judgment Day is also kind of on its dying legs.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised to see Judgment Day exist past like Backlash.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, no, at the end of the day, I didn't think the tag team match was so much of a botch as much as it just was like,
it's just like, what's the point?
I mean, there's a couple matches through this week in WWE where it was like, what's the point? You're just having a match to have a match.
Right.
The botches this week, I guess I want to say it seems like whatever they're doing with with Undisputed Kingdom is not working.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not working right now because you got your main guy.
Your main guy is still sitting out, and he's sitting. Having Adam Cole give Adam Cole's still Adam Cole. He's fantastic, but having Adam Cole give promos from a injured position just makes it hard to really buy into what's going on.
Right.
So why wouldn't they have him continue to wear the devil mask? Like, be Adam Cole, but wear the devil mask and have people being taken out left and right.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. But I mean, that's the whole thing with AEW as far as storylines go. They don't really do very good as far as keeping things going with that.
Yeah, like Roderick Strong and the Kingdom boys, they go out and they're talking to best friends, and they seem like idiots.
Yeah.
Like Roderick Strong, like if you want to make this faction work, Roderick Strong and Mike Bennett and
Matt
Taven should have gone right out there and beat the ever living crap out of the best friends.
Yeah.
Not talked, not gotten interrupted by the crowd, not seemed like whiny little piss ants.
Yeah.
But gone out there and absolutely just injured people.
Yeah. That's
and
what
Roderick
they need
Strong,
to do.
Like, once again, Roderick Strong is fantastic. I mean, him as a schmarmy heel is great. It's awesome, but it doesn't make the faction look strong.
No, it doesn't.
So that's my botch, is that what they're doing right now, it's like Roderick Strong and the Kingdom being the way they were, that was perfect before the reveal.
Yeah.
After the reveal, the guys who were in the masks that were knocking people out and putting the whole roster on notice, you find out that that's them, and now they're back to just being kind of like comical heels.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me, and that's the part, like, AEW has been a very faction-heavy company since its inception, but this is the kind of stuff, this is why there are no real AEW factions that have really gotten over yet.
Right. Well, I mean, they don't last very long.
They don't last long because they don't get over, because they don't know how to book a faction to be successful.
Right. I mean, yeah.
So,
hopefully they just do a better job of that in general, but it's hard to say at this point. But
yeah, I mean, hopefully when Adam can return and if they get the titles on them, but like that's what needs to happen. Adam needs to make his return. I mean, or while Adam's injured, Wardlow needs to win the title. That's not happening.
Yeah.
But like Roderick needs to win the international title.
Right.
The Kingdom, they had the ROH titles, but they need to win the company titles. They need to win the AEW tag team titles. Cole needs to win the world title.
Yes.
Like this whole stuff with Wardlow, like it's stupid because you're sitting there as a fan and anybody with half a brain sitting there going, okay, so Wardlow just traded MJF for Adam Cole.
Yeah, essentially.
So how does that help Wardlow? It just makes him look stupid.
Yeah, it does. But hopefully things will get better with that, but it's hard to sell. But anyway, guys, that is our episode for today. Go and check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're on all social media right now and all streaming platforms with podcasts. Also, we got upcoming events, like I said before, DCCW February 10th and Hard Times NWA March 2nd. We'll have more upcoming days to come or weeks to come, however long it takes. But as always, guys, we want to thank you so much for your support. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it 5 stars.